KT, Ukraine without Zelensky, wouldn't it be harder, first of all, to make the sale for all the billions we've been spending there to American taxpayers if he wasn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a world rock star. And a lot of the support going to Ukraine, especially from Europe and the United States, is because it's going to him personally. He's a freedom fighter. He's a rock star. So Ukraine without Zelensky is Ukraine without a lot of international support behind it. Look, I think she gave the right answer. You know, if he announces, I'm running for re-election, all of a sudden he looks like a crass politician on the campaign trail as opposed to a freedom fighter. At the end of the day, he's going to run for re-election.
Now, KT, where do you stand with regard to all the money that we're spending, the tens of billions of dollars that have been going to Ukraine for these many months? Where does it end? I know some people say at victory, but the spending at some point, we have to be accountable for where that money is going. And Americans demand it, don't they?
Yeah, look, right now, the American people are being offered a choice between two extremes. On one hand, do everything we can to have Ukraine win. And no accountability, just give money to them and that's what the Biden administration is saying. On the other hand, it's walk away, let Russia win, doesn't matter. Those are two lousy options. I'm for that middle option, which is bankrupt Russia. That's how Reagan won the Cold War. We bankrupted the Soviet Union by driving down the global price of oil. So therefore, Russia wouldn't have enough money to pay for this war. One of the reasons the Russians have just announced recently that they're going to have a new defense buildup, they're going to buy weapons from North Korea and other places, is because the price of oil has just gone up. That's a windfall of profits. So the minute America says no more war on American fossil fuels, America will be energy dominant. We will set the global price of oil, and we are going to set it below where Russia needs it to be. We win the war. To me, it's just crazy to have these two extremes when the obvious, good, easy one is staring you right in the face.
And KT, when you started that brilliant monologue of an answer there, I was shaking my head no, because we are doing precisely the opposite. Our anti-fossil fuel program is driving fossil fuel prices up even more, and that means that Russia, it makes it easier for Putin to pay for the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, he can fight this war forever, because as long as he has that extra profit that he gets when oil's above about $70, $80 a barrel, he's got the money to pay for it. And it's not only bad for the American economy, we're paying $5, $6 a gallon of gas in some parts of the country. It's bad for our economy, it's bad for our national security, and frankly, it's bad for the environment, because clean, abundant American natural gas can take the place of a lot of dirty fossil fuels. And so to me, it's just such a no-brainer to bankrupt our enemies, fix our own economy, and fix the environment, as long as we would only do one thing, which is to allow the American energy to produce again.
All right. Next one, KT. Officials in the Philippines are sounding off after China installed a floating barrier. We're taking a picture of it now, or at least a design of it, in the South China Sea. They say it is preventing them from fishing in the area. They even vowed to remove the barriers, that is, the Filipinos did. What happens if they make a move against China and these barriers?
Well, they're probably not going to do it. Look, here's what's happened, is that China wants to control the South China Sea and control the entire area. They've built up military bases on basically rock piles in the middle of those oceans. But other countries contest those territorial waters. They say, look, we have fishing rights there too, not just China. But China's kind of pushing everybody out. It's like a salami tactic. So if you have a salami and you slice a little bit each time, before you know it, the salami's gone. And that's what China's doing. Every couple of weeks, they do a little bit more aggression. They take a little bit more land. They take another move in the South China Sea. Their end goal is to control it, because it's the world's most important maritime trade route. And it's also to push the United States back to the Hawaiian Islands, get us out of the Pacific. And then finally, it puts China in a terrific position to take Taiwan.
All right, the last one, KT. Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn is slamming Biden's hostage deal with the Iranians. She says they're not going to use the money to better the lives of their people. She thinks they're going to be using it to push forward on uranium enrichment and nuclear proliferation. So, KT, are there any U.S. restrictions that could prevent the Iranians from using some of that $6 billion for nukes? And I hear you laughing already.
Oh my gosh, you know, they're going to use that for whatever they want. They've already announced they're going to use it for whatever they want. I mean, the Biden administration says, oh, no, it's just going to be medicine, food for children, medicine for pregnant women.
Right.
No, the Iranian government, the Iranian leaders have said, we'll use it for whatever we want. Guess what they're going to use it for? Exactly what Senator Blackburn says. They're going to use it for their nuclear program. They're going to use it for terrorist activities against Israel and against Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. And anybody who thinks otherwise, you know, they're pretty foolish. And that may be the Biden administration foreign policy.
All right. What about a new nuclear deal? We know that they want to get back into the nuclear deal that Trump stopped. Is there a chance that we could enter into another nuclear deal with Iran?
Yeah, but what's the nuclear deal? The Biden administration, like the Obama administration before it, is going to allow Iran to legally have nuclear weapons by a certain date. And we've already seen the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia says, well, if Iran gets nuclear weapons, we're going to get nuclear weapons in Saudi Arabia too. And then everybody in the region is going to want nukes. So whether we have another deal or not, the deal is not a good deal. And the deal is to let to let Iran have nuclear weapons in a short period of time legitimately.
KT McFarland, good to see you, KT. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.